Hey, this is Jessie Ann Nichols George, and I'm coming to you with my tip for the month. And what I'm sharing with you today is how to remove distortions from your life. Now, this is really going to apply to a lot of people out there because we have a lot of people, even those people who are coming in as light workers and energy healers and doing all this fabulous work out there. And yet we're finding that they're starting to get a little burned out. They're starting to get overwhelmed by things. They're feeling drained by things. And I don't want to see this happen to them because we need these people tremendously. More than ever, we need that light. We need that energy. We need that chi. We need all of those positive vibrations working on this earth right now. And certainly we can understand it because, there's been a lot of challenges come up on us. I mean, if you just ask, for example, Sharita Starr, who was on my show not too long ago, and she'll say that, we're in that retrograde train right now, in her terms, the retrograde train, which is a bunch of retrograde planets. So we certainly are dealing with our challenges starting off this year. Now, however, even with that, what happens is when we get into these spaces, we tend to live into a space that's called distortions. And this is actually related to some of the angel language for those of you that deal with angels. And distortions are all those vibrations that distract us. They pull us away from divine energy. They pull us away from spirit and love and light. And this happens when we get overwhelmed by our challenges. This is what happens when we get wrapped up in our challenges, or we're not creating balance or taking time for ourselves because we're light workers and we're doing all this great healing out there for other people in the earth and focusing on shifting all this energy around. And so when we look at these distortions, it can bring up things like anger. It can bring up blocks in our lives. We could have money struggles going on. We could have relationship issues going on. And yes, the planetary influences add to all of that. But whether we fall into that space or whether we're able to harness that energy makes the difference of whether we're living in those distortions or not. And as we're doing this, I find that there is a very key tool for helping us out of distortions. And what happens is our energy gets all erratic when we're dealing with distortions. Okay, we get separated from our angel guides, we get separated from divine presence, we get separated from spirit, basically, is what happens. And that's why we create more and more challenges, and then we wonder, oh my gosh, how do I get out of this struggle and this challenge and everything like that? So there is a very, very key thing that works very well to get us to remove the distortions and to remove us from that space of distortions and back into the light, back into the connection. And that is called grounding. Now, there's a lot of different ways. Grounding is very easy. No, you don't have to go spend all kinds of money. No, you don't have to take a ton of time to do this. But it is going to help bring your energy back into focus. It's going to help bring you the restoration that you need to keep going and to keep rejuvenating yourself over and over and over again. And we'll see it in all kinds of simple things. You might even see it in your body, like your hair gets a little frizzier, your skin starts drying out more, things like that. And when we get into these distortions and we've lost our sense of being grounded, we're actually more susceptible to being programmed. So when we're sitting there in front of the computer all day, we're sitting there with the news going, we're sitting there with all these different things, they can program us that much easier when we're in that distortion, disconnected, ungrounded space. So in order to do this, again, we're coming back to grounding. And you might wonder, well, what's this grounding thing? What's that all about there? And grounding is kind of like securing or harnessing the energy in your home, right? You have a light socket. And if you were to go and plug something in that light socket and it sparks and things like that, then it's not grounded. That energy is not grounded down well, and that can lead to what? Fires in your home. That can lead to all kinds of crazy things going off and getting explosive, right? And now what we're doing is we're going to shift that. And when you ground that energy, now you can actually harness that light socket energy, plug something into it, and it can power up a lot of stuff. It's got, everything's going right into the source to help, say, a lamp light up or a refrigerator operator or whatever it is. So part of the key is, if you're feeling ungrounded and if you're experiencing some of these challenges and these distortions that are coming up, you want to be very careful about how much you're around electrical items, because the more electrical items, we're talking those smartphones, right? Electrical cars. We're talking about, a lot of things that operate off of electricity. Try a little candlelight instead. But we want to minimize those sorts of things, especially wireless things, because that's where the great amount of the distortions can come through. And I know that a lot of us live by computers and all of that, but that is one thing. We want to make sure those things, for example, aren't in our bedroom, right? That's one of the big feng shui tips. Don't have that electrical stuff in your bedroom. Your body can't restore, okay? And then also things like hydrating, getting moisture into the air, for example. Okay, when we do that, the static electricity comes down in the air. We become less programmed. We become more grounded, more connected with spirit. The flow opens up again. And then also things like drinking water. A lot of things to do with water. Think about that. Showers, baths. Matter of fact, I just got out of the shower right before I did this because I wanted to be nice and grounded when I did this video. And hydrating ourselves. Even if you think you drink a ton of water, drink more water. Make sure that you're getting that water in the air, that moisture in the air. That's a big thing. And also things like walking. Even just simple as going out and walking for a couple of blocks, a half a mile. That physical exercise. Physical exercise grounds us out. So if you are going into these spaces, anger, frustration, overwhelm, and even if you're feeling fatigue and you're thinking, I don't have the energy, go for a walk. It will actually end up energizing you. Also being barefoot. There's a process called earthing, which does a lot of grounding for us. Okay, and we're removing a lot of those electrical magnetic frequencies when we do that. So getting barefoot on grass that has just been watered, for example, it's really great because it connects you directly with the earth. So these types of things, I want you to think grounding, grounding, grounding. It's actually very easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of time. But if you are getting those anger, that frustration, even if it's in an office place, family, wherever it is, stop, take a breath, and walk away. And breathing is another factor, which is why exercise is so good for grounding, because we naturally are forced to breathe a little bit deeper. So think of that. Water, breathing, walking, or exercising. They're all going to help you ground, and they're all going to help you rejuvenate that energy right back to that space of beauty, that space of pleasure, that space of balance. And it's going to get your mind back off of the crazy distortions and back into the light. Hey, this is Jessie Ann Nichols George, helping you learn how to remove the distortions from your life and to get grounded and to get connected. Take care, and until next month. If you'd like to check out more of my work, feel free to do so. Radio shows, other videos, the whole work, you can do so at my website, JessieAnnNicholsGeorge1.com. Take care.